Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Charles Turner. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of reviews or topics, re-reviews, randomness, commentaries, whatever, reactions, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. Now, this is for Triple Frontier from 2019, which I had heard of. I know my good friend Michael Keane reviewed it on his channel, The Choice Voice. And I searched Ben Affleck, who I do like as an actor. Liked him in Good Will Hunting. I liked the film Paycheck, the John Woo film. I liked his Daredevil from 2003, especially the director's cut. He directed Gone Baby Gone, which I liked. The Town I liked. So I like Ben Affleck. You also have Oscar Isaac. He was Poe in the new Star Wars Disney movies. Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam. He was in the first Pacific Rim. I'm not really big on him as an actor. He worked fine here in a supporting role. I could deal with it. Same with Garrett Hedlund. He was in Tron Legacy. He was in Death Sentence. Again, not really a favorite of mine, but I could deal with him. Again, for the supporting role. You also have Pedro Pascal, who was in The Mandalorian as the lead, among other stuff. I do like him as an actor. Not sure as a person, that's a different matter. But as an actor, I do like him. And you know, a movie's not too bad if it starts out with Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls. For whom the bells toll. And when your movie starts out with Metallica, it can't be all that bad. I know Triple Frontier is not a bad film. I just don't think it's that memorable of a film. I do think it's a tad too long. The third act, I'm not really big on in the direction they took with it. But it's a very well shot film. Really good looking movie. The actors, I do think they worked well together. They're not really much in depth of the characters though. The little bits is maybe Ben Affleck and a little bit of Oscar Isaac. But again, it's well shot. The story is that Oscar Isaac deals with cartels, chases after them in Colombia, and he has an informant that tells him about this drug lord that has a good chunk of money in there. So he gets former comrades Ben Affleck, who's a realtor, but things are not going so well. He owes a lot of money for his kids' colleges and stuff. You have Charlie Hunnam, who does these motivational speeches, but you can tell he's a bit tired of doing them. Garrett Hedlund, he's brothers with Charlie Hunnam's character, and he does some MMA stuff. And then Pedro Pascal, he's a pilot. So they're not really sure about this, but they're okay with taking a conversation type of meeting. Ultimately, they decide to do it. And when it gets into the heist, pretty early on, a lot earlier than I thought it would. Again, you can tell they spent a nice budget on where they shot it, good looking aerial shots, the cinematography, and again, not minding actors like Oscar Isaac. I don't mind him as an actor. It's just a lot of films he's been in I haven't been big on, but I do think he's a good actor. And you know, him and Pedro Pascal and Ben Affleck, okay, cool. The other two I could deal with in this group. The first half of the film I thought was actually decent enough. Setting it up, I thought the pacing in the first half was fairly consistent. Okay, they're doing this robbery. Wow, they're doing this robbery already? Alright. I mean, it's about 40 some minutes in. But okay, you know, some time to build up Oscar Isaac, then build up the other characters, then agree to the plan. spy a little bit on where they need to do this plan, where this robbery is going to take place. When they go in there, they find there's money in the walls. They get the money, certain things happen. And that's where the movie kind of went flat for me. After they get the money, after they leave, that's when I went, this is kind of meh. And I don't know how to describe it without going to spoilers. So I'm not going to spoilers now. Because what happens is, during the robbery, it's cool, like everywhere they look in the wall, there's money, money, money. And then Ben Affleck, you can tell the greed that bug has bitten him a bit too much. So he's like, no, let's stay longer, let's get more. And then they decide to kill the guards and burn down the place. And as they leave. But then, after that, the movie just kind of was a slog to sit through. Because then, we got like an hour left of the movie. I'm like, where the hell is this leading to? When they did the robbery and there's an hour left. Oh, well, they get on a plane. Oh, the money weighs too much. So they're trying to cut some money loose, but then it still weighs too much. So the helicopter can't go over the mountains. Then it fucking crashes into this farm of drug guys who are just like farmers and teenagers. And then Ben Affleck, he's cautious, but then the guy pulls a knife, so Ben Affleck shoots a couple people. And then you tell some teenagers are pissed about that. Then they're walking through the mountains, they're walking in the rain. They get a fire, they use some money. It takes a fortune to heat this place. Costs a fortune. Then they're shot at in the mountains. And then, spoiler alert, big spoiler, Ben Affleck gets killed. Which I'm like, well, that's not the first time this happened. It happened in the... Well, actually, I would be giving that movie away. Let me just say there's another movie, action movie, where he just killed decently early on in that one. I'll just put it at that. I won't mention the movie so that doesn't spoil people. And then, of course, the other three are sad about it, and the person that shot was one of the teenagers. And then they're wondering what to do next. Then they argue for a bit. They're traversing more of the landscape. They finally get to a vehicle, and you get a little bit of a car chase. They tie some people up. They go on. They make it out of there. They have the money, which at the beginning it was like $250 million. But now I think there's just $5 million left. And the other three decide to give their... No, other four, I should say. I keep saying three. There's 5 people. The other 4, Oscar Isaac, Garrett, Hedlund, Charlie Hunnam, and Pedro Pascal. The other 4, they decide to give their money, their share, to Ben Affleck's family. So it makes it seem as if, wow, they did this all for nothing. But then at the very, very end, they write some coordinates and give it to Oscar Isaac. So maybe they'll go back for that money. So maybe it wasn't for nothing, or whatever the case may be. And I don't know, I just didn't care for the direction the second half went. I agree with my friend Michael. I think he said this. If you watch this, Michael, forgive me if I'm wrong. But I think I remember him saying he wished that it was like some battle and they can't make it out, but then they have to bunker in and there's people coming on all sides and it'll be like a Assault on Precinct 13 type of thing where they're in the cartel's bunker, they're in this house, and the bad guys don't want to burn the place down because all the money's in there. But then it's just, again, assault on precinct 13 type of battle. But just the second half just wasn't really that exciting or thrilling or interesting after the robbery. Like, after the robbery, it kind of just fell flat and went. Then I thought, oh, okay, Ben Affleck's getting greedy. Will that make him turn on the other guys in some way, shape, or form? Where, okay, he killed this farmer or two. Granted, they had weapons and the knives, and some had guns, but maybe it was a bit too far. And will he then start fighting amongst the other guys? Will it be like was it Tupac Shakur and Juice? Ben Affleck's got the juice. Will it be him turn on the other guys and be like a fight for survival? Maybe Ben Affleck goes crazy with greed. Granted, maybe that'd be a bit too out of place. But greed corrupts. Sometimes corrupts absolutely. Is going to go for like a treasure of the Sierra Madre type of thing, where greed overtakes a lot of the people. No. Just a very boring trek through the moundscape. Firefights that are not really that exciting or thrilling. A chase through the jungle which is alright because, again, nice looking shots, locations. That's something they should have used for Indiana Jones and the Tin with the Crystal Skull. And I really like that film, but that trek in the jungle with the CGI wasn't that good. If they made it look like this, it'd be much better. But anyway, going off tangent. But yeah, Triple Frontier, well made in terms of the shot compositions, the geography. You tell there's a budget put into this, where it's slick enough. I think it was released on Netflix, I believe. I don't know if this got theatrical. I think it was just Netflix. Could be wrong, though. But it really wasn't that memorable at the end of the day. It just became very mundane, unmemorable. There's not any like big speeches or big dramatic moments or crazy insane action that will make you remember it for, like, by a week or two. I'm not going to remember much about this movie. And no, I don't think this is a bad movie. I think this is an alright movie. But can I say I love it? No. I think the cast did as good as they could. Some of the characters are pretty underwritten, like Pedro Pascal and Garrett Hedlund. They're pretty underwritten roles. You don't really know a whole lot about them. And it's not like there's a lot of like funny banter or really humorous moments of them going back and forth that could really repartee, so to speak, that could really come to mind. I know there's talks of like Tom Hardy, Channing Tatum, at one point like Tom Hanks or Johnny Depp. I don't think the acting's the problem. It's just the script, especially the second half. Like the first half I could deal with. The second half just bogged down into boredom. I was quite bored in the second half. So, just didn't do much for me. Sorry, just didn't do much for me. But the first half, and the well-shot scenes, and the decent cast, at least in this movie, how they work together, competent enough where, I mean, it's worth a look. If you watch the trailer, you like the trailer, it's worth a look. Just don't be surprised if a few days later you don't remember much about it. But, I mean, I don't think it's a bad film. It's at least a 3 out of 5 star movie, at least. It's just unremarkable. fairly unremarkable. But hey, maybe that's just me. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.